Hello and welcome to the Daily Scripture Podcast. My name is Jerome Lavelle and I hope that you're having a lovely day today. Today we will be looking at Mark chapter 12, verses 18 through 27. Some Sadducees, who say there is no resurrection, came to Jesus and put this question to him, saying, "Teacher, Moses wrote for us, if someone's brother dies, leaving a wife with no child, his brother must take the wife and raise up descendants for the brother. Now there were 7 brothers. The first married a woman and died, leaving no descendants. So the second brother married her and died, leaving no descendants. And the third likewise. And the 7th left no descendants. Last of all, the woman also died. At the resurrection, when they arise, whose wife will she be? For all 7 had been married to her." Jesus said to them, "Are you not misled because you do not know the Scriptures or the power of God? When they rise from the dead, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but they are like the angels in heaven. As for the dead being raised, have you not read in the book of Moses, in the passage about the bush, how God told him, 'I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob'? He is not the God of the dead, but of the living. You are greatly misled." Today in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 12, verses 18 through 27, we hear Jesus responding to Sadducees who had posed a hypothetical question to him concerning marriage. In this account, Jesus is asked about 7 brothers who consecutively married the same woman, under the scenario where none of the brothers and this woman had descendants as part of their marriage. The question was, at the resurrection, to whom is the woman married? In other words, what is her ultimate relationship to the 7 brothers at the resurrection? And in looking at this, as in other conversations or perhaps inquisitions that Jesus faces, he doesn't take this question at face value, but rather uses the opportunity to clarify, to teach, and to instruct, despite the motivation of the questioner. He uses the opportunity here to describe what things will be like. He says, when they rise from the dead, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but they are like angels in heaven. And further, he explains that our God is not a God of the dead, but of the living. In thinking about this scripture, I see Jesus cutting through all of the smoke of this pretty crazy hypothetical question and providing clarity about what's to come. But he also redirects the entire dialogue. He says, ours is a God of the living, not a God of the dead. And that is his punch word. In other words, what he's saying is God is so powerful, so loving, so into us and our individual lives, and even in each moment, that his focus is on being love to us and love for us. That God is the God of the living. He conquered death through Jesus Christ. And that death no longer holds chains over us. He's not a dead God, but a God of life and a God of living. In considering today's scripture, my reflection is on how Jesus cuts through the noise of that question about the woman and the brothers and distills out the essence that rather than focus on questions of death and dying, we should instead focus on issues of life and living. And I love that punchline. Ours is an incredible God who is a God of the living. And he conquered that death through Jesus. And he lives alive in all of us. He desires us to live a life full of him and bringing him into the lives of others, full of the joy of life and the joy of living that is known when we live in him. Jesus says in today's passage that our God is not a God of the dead, but rather a God of the living. May we all live today and tomorrow full of our incredible living God. Thank you for joining the Daily Scripture Podcast. My name is Jerome Lavelle, and remember, our word of the day is our incredible living God. Until next time, be well and be blessed.